Hey, everybody. It's Sophie Zoe from Sophie Zoe Next Level Business Support. Today, I'm doing one of those extra special lives, bringing in someone to interview, to talk to. And today's guest is Carlyn Bushman. She is my friend, she is a colleague, and she is my partner in crime in the Pop Academy. We'll talk more about that later. Today, we're talking lead generators. Love your lead generators. Part of our Pop Academy experience is all about growing your business, and part of growing your business has to do with lead generators. So today we're going to talk about lead generation, opt-ins, freebies, all those different things that come with lead generation. So without further ado, Carlyn Bushman, let's get your perspective on lead gen, and then we'll have a back and forth discussion about it.
Love it. Thank you so much, Sophie, and good morning and happy Friday. I think we're all ready to be wrapping up our week, so this is exciting. Yes, lead generators. I've had so many conversations this past week, and I thought this is the perfect opportunity to have this conversation with you because this is the topic that you dig deep on during Pop Academy, which is progress over perfection workshop and academy, where it's a very interactive 6 weeks with the two of us, and then of course our participants as well. And my conversation over the last week has been a lot related to not exactly finding the right avatar. So I started thinking about this, Sophie, and I thought this is perfect. We should talk about lead generators because is your lead generator really speaking to your target market? And I think this is a challenge. I think we come up with some of these lead generators and we think they're going to be great, the 10 top tips, the 5 hacks, whatever the case is, but is it really geared towards specifically what your intent is and your call to action?
Agreed. There are so many different ways to generate leads now. The old and it's not old fashioned, it's still relevant, it still works, but for some audiences and some industries and niches, a simple PDF opt-in doesn't cut it anymore. Sometimes you need to do something really new and almost revolutionary, and sometimes it's trendy, and which is okay as long as it's authentic to you. I mean, one of the big things now are quizzes, and quizzes are hot. But if what you do and the problems you solve aren't really quiz oriented, where you can give someone a quiz and then score them and say, well, you scored a 50, which means you are lacking this, or your problem is this and your solution is that, then it doesn't make sense. But there's also, because video is also hot, and mini courses, mini workshops, all those things are really hot too. So it's not just about a PDF or a free report in knowing your audience. It's like, what does your audience want to consume? How do they want to consume your lead generation, opt-in, freebie, whatever that is? And sometimes that lead generator is not free. That's another thing to consider too.
Right. And you've brought up so many great points. So I think to put some structure behind this, it's even taking it a step back before you create that PDF, that ebook, the video, the quiz. What particular format is your audience most conducive to wanting from you, right? So what is that? And the bringing up the video aspect, is your audience on video? Is it nice and short and sweet? Is it giving them things that they can implement right away, whether it's a product or service based scenario? So how would you say our audience would benefit the most? What are things they can look for in their audience in order to build the best lead generator from a format standpoint? What are some tips and tricks you might have, Sophie, for that?
Well, there's a lot of good things in, hopefully they all have Google Analytics set up on their website. Hopefully they are paying attention to the insights and metrics on their social media, because that is the best way to judge what kind of media, what kind of content they want that their people are consuming the most. Because all your analytics are going to show you who's watching the videos, who's reading a post, who's doing, engaging with, like a poll. If you do a poll on social media and that blows up, a poll and a quiz, those kinds of questionnaires are going to be hot with your people. But if you got people just, gobbling up your video posts, whether they're live or pre-recorded, video is their thing. And in some cases, you can kind of double duty it. And that's something to consider too, because like where video is concerned, always make sure that, you can offer the recording only in case they're audio and not visual, because video is both. It's audio and visual, but some people are just audio. They consume by listening. So, you might want to double duty offer, get the video and the audio. And then for your old fashioned people who like to read, you can give them a transcript. So it can go so many different ways, but your analytics on Google, as far as what's being consumed on your website, and your social media analytics are going to show you what kind of content they like to consume, so that you can base your decision on what your lead generator is going to be based on that.
And I think it's not a one and done scenario. And what you're alluding to is, I like the transcript idea. I like the audio only. I like the video. Don't forget the closed caption. That's
Oh,
another
yes.
great option, right? So if somebody is in a busy space and they want to see what you're trying to, the message you're trying to get out to them as far as your lead generator, closed caption is great. And I like that you're seeing that. And then test it, right? I think building something, letting it run, for a couple weeks to see how that's working, and then don't feel like you have to scrap it. Test it, change a question in the poll or the quiz, right? Change something up to see if you're going to get a little more traction. And what I found is really interesting lately, and you learn through mistakes, right? Maybe change the title. It could be as simple as putting some of those pain points or those words into the title of your lead generator, and all of a sudden you'll see an influx of individuals. Matter of fact, I'm doing something like that right now, kind of working through my own lead generator for certain things and realizing it's just not tacky enough, and I really need to go back to it and figure out, why is that? Let's start with the title of the lead generator and floating that out there to see, are we going to get some more activity? The other thing I have found is to set up Google Alerts. Another opportunity is setting up Google Alerts. And that way, if you put some keywords in, those drop into you every time there's relevant content out and people are searching for relevant content. You'll get a Google Alert, and that tells you what is kind of relevant, or what is important in the world right now. What is being sought the most? What are the keywords people are looking for? And you'll get some Google alerts on some of those things. So I found that to sort of give me some insight into the industry that I'm working in particular. So that's another option too. So then we grab all this material, right? And we think that. And then I really like what you just said. It doesn't always have to be free. So talk a little bit about that, because I think everybody thinks it has to be free to get a new email address or to get some engagement on your socials or what have you. So talk to us a little bit about what you mean by free or not free.
Well, it's, today, in today's world on online marketing, there's a lot of lead gen going on for low dollar, low ticket items, like and sometimes it's as low as something like $7. I mean, it's crazy. You think, really, $7? But just that, because that way they're putting skin in the game from the get-go. When it's free, there's no skin in the game. They may or may not read your freebie. They may or may not watch your video, or, those kinds of things. But if they got some skin in the game and they're spending a little bit of money on it, they're really hot for what you're doing there. And they're even they become a warmer audience faster if they're already gonna invest a little bit in you from the get-go. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be, like I said, as little as $7, or it can be 17, 27, whatever the case may be. I mean, and in some cases, people actually go up to 47 and $97, because in that case, you're kind of doing double duty. It's a lead gen, but it's also a revenue stream for the business. It helps you build the business on the revenue side in a way that is inexpensive for the potential clients, the potential people seeing it. And it tells you just how hot your thing is, because if they're willing to pay for it, you're on the right track for sure.
Right, and I love that. And I think you can do a combination. I've thought about this lately, and I don't know what you think about this, but sometimes it's nice to brainstorm some of these ideas, which is what we do actually during Pop Academy. During Pop
Yes.
Academy, we drop in and we really think through, for your business, your product or service-based business, let's really think through the best lead generator for you. And what is that going to look and feel like? And is it a video? Is it a video combined with a quiz? Is it some kind of checklist that maybe to get up and running, in a particular space, whatever that might look like? Is it a ebook? Is it something you can drop in and it's a quick ebook that can be downloaded and read as well? So again, speaking to your particular audience, we dig into that, and that is in week 3 of Pop Academy. And then of course week 4, Sophie, as you guide us through, we talk about how to market it. So where do you put that lead generator? So that's interesting. I think there's a nice combination you can do too. As we're seeing more and more video happening, you can create a video combined with the quiz or combined with a checklist. So do a little intro video, and then they go ahead and download that particular PDF or take that particular quiz or what that is. One place you can actually do some of these quizzes that's really helpful to get some results is even in your own Google Drive. So don't overthink it and wonder how you're going to create something. Just start and test it, right? Start with some of these words. Any thoughts on, if we're going to stay in that quiz or that poll location, any thoughts on how much time should it take somebody to complete or read or implement a lead generator? What is kind of some good benchmarks for us there?
That's a really good question that I'm going to answer in a second, but we actually have a question in the chat. Um, Karen Dunn Skinner says, "Hi, Carlyn. Do you think it's better to have a positive title or an avoid these terrible mistakes title? So avoiding pain versus getting positive results? Because, there's the pain point philosophy and there's the passion point or the positive points, the benefit philosophy. What is your take on that?"
I have tried both, and what I have found is pain is better. I have found that the pain points work a little bit better. They make it all of a sudden you can relate to it. So, for instance, if you're struggling with time management, and hi Karen, nice to see you. Thanks for dropping in. If you're struggling with time management, then you speak to that, and that's your opt-in, right? So I understand trying to manage everything when you're owning and running your own business. What does that look like? I think it's really great to be able to say, hey, are you struggling with your own personal time management or your company? And again, that's not the perfect title, but something to that effect, that I'm like, yeah, that's me. Help me out. Like, help me out. Not the world is beautiful, or here's 10 things to increase whatever. I feel like it speaks to us because we're all humans, and you're going to give me a tool that's going to help me figure out the next steps and getting out of this situation. So I lean more towards the pain points, and I've done both, and I've seen more traction on the pain point side. Sophie, your opinion on that? I think it's a great question.
Yes, it is a great question. I've seen it go both ways. I think part of it is your audience, and in some cases, it's the current world climate. Because if the world is in, a bad place, so to speak, people don't want to hear more negative pain point stuff. They want to hear some light at the end of the tunnel. But if everything seems to be kind of even keel, or as even flow as it can be, then you can speak to the pain points because they're not sick of hearing about all the negativity and the pain points and all the things in life. But again, it does boil down to knowing your client avatar, your ideal client. You'll know how to speak to them, whether it's pain points or positive points, based on who they are and what their needs are. And again, you can, something I was going to mention before I answer your question about the quiz length and whatnot, is survey your audience too. Don't forget to survey them and ask them, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. I want to title it A or title it B. What do you think? And get some feedback from people, because that is going to be one good source of information on what to title your lead generator and what kind of lead generator is is going to work for them beyond your analytics. You can just flat out ask people on your social feed or in your newsletter list, whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's, I have found that pain points work for my audience as well. But it can be audience specific. So, kind of basically, still do your homework, do your research, and figure out what your audience wants to see and hear.
I think another thing, Karen, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too, always. I think you could lead with the pain point. So, for instance, you lead with a statement saying, are you frustrated with ending the week, not finishing all your projects, or what have you? And then you have a tagline that says, "Click here to solve that problem." And again, I'm not, I'm making this up as we go, but I think it's beneficial to say, "Here's the problem, here's the pain. Click here. We're going to walk you through a solution." So I think you can even balance the two as well. Use this, and oftentimes it's kind of like, um, if you don't try this, you're still going to be in that same position, right? So why don't you just give this a try? Like, just try this, because right now the option is you're still in that same exact position, or however whatever the opt-in is guiding you towards. So great questions. Great
Yes, I
questions.
love it. And Karen, you're welcome. We are happy to answer any and all questions. So, that being said, let me answer Carla's question about the length of a poll or an assessment, a quiz. Polls need to be short and sweet, probably no more than five, one question with a few answers to choose from, because that's going to be more of a social media post than a true lead generator. So then but a quiz needs to be longer, because it needs to be able to, you need to be able to score it in most cases, so you can give them some sort of result. Usually around 10 questions is the limit on a quiz. Multiple choice, obviously, because, you're going to potentially use a tool that's going to score your answers to give them that result. And then you can tell them how to fix, your result is X. Here's what we recommend, because every result possibility is basically an opportunity to solve their problem on a high level and invite them into more to make them a client. That's kind of the goal of a quiz. So, short polls, 1 or 2 questions with a few answers, and quizzes about 10 questions is where I would go with that.
Great to know. Thank you so much for that, Sophie. And again, dropping into Pop Academy weeks 3 and 4, love digging into this and really having some good, juicy conversations surrounding how it can benefit you and your business.
All right. Yes. And Karen has one more comment I'm going to bring up on the screen, and we can
Great.
respond to that. And then we need to wrap it up. It's been fun though. I don't know if you can see it, but on my end, so we've got a lead generator we're testing now called 5 Mistakes Lawyers Make in Their Law Firms and How to Overcome Them. I like that. What about you? I think that's a pretty good start. It talks about their pain points. And I like that it doesn't talk about it in a super negative way. I mean, mistakes can have a negative connotation to it, but it's not really going to make them just go, "Oh my God, I'm so awful. I do that." It's like, "Ooh, I've made those mistakes. Ooh, I can fix them too." She actually addresses both the pain point and how to overcome them, like you talked about. Do you agree?
I agree. And I do like that. 5 mistakes lawyers make in their law firms and how to overcome them. I think I do like that. Is it specific to I think you could even dig a little more and just make it a little more. I don't know if you're trying to market to what kind of law firm. I don't know if there's anything more. Is it specific to 5 mistakes family lawyers make in their law firms? I don't know if you want to even drill it down where you could have it and market it to different groups of attorneys in different spaces. I don't know if there is, because then you can take that one opt-in and you can use it for targeting out, whether you're running it on social, and then you can see what kind of attorneys are picking up on this. Are they mostly employment law? Are they mostly family? Are they mostly, different spaces, right? um, I'm blanking on some of the names, of course, the different genres of the attorneys, but maybe you even drill it down. Something I've seen recently is when there is a book or an opt-in that is specific to like businesses. Are you a consultant, specific to a consultant? 5 mistakes consultants make in their service-based business or something like that, then I'm like, oh, that's really talking to me. So you don't want it to be too general. Let's see. I do see her comments, or I see the comment
Okay.
that you just posted. So that's great. Yeah, our concern is that it's a little too general because each mistake leads them to a different service product. Yes. So I would take it and really even just break it down one more level. I just think there's some really good material there, and I'm learning through this process as well with my own, breaking it down. I don't need to speak to everybody with one opt-in or, one lead generator. I need to sort of, carve that out, like to say it goes to this one and it goes to this one and it goes to this one. So test it. Like you have nothing to lose by testing that to see where you're going to get this most stickiness out of that. Sophie, your thoughts on that?
Agreed. Yeah, if each because it almost sounds like because each mistake leads to a different service or product, you might actually want to convert this into a quiz. This might be better held as a quiz because that way you're giving them you're engaging them immediately, giving them this quiz so they can figure out the mistake they're making and the product they need to, instead of, which mistake, like which mistake are you making in your law firm that's, causing you, X, Y, or Z. And then they take the quiz and they see which mistake they're making, the most because everybody makes mistakes, and if they're not making, you weight the answer so that the one biggest mistake is biggest mistake, most often made mistake is the result, and then therefore that leads to that service or that product that you offer because of that, how to overcome that mistake. So actually, I think this lead gen tool could be a quiz instead of, that little 5 mistakes and how to overcome them PDF or whatever that is. That
I like
actually
it.
inspires me to do a quiz because you're going to ask them questions that lead to one of those 5 mistakes and a product or service you can sell them into. So that would be my advice on that, Karen.
Well, and Sophie, I think as far as lead generators are concerned, I think it goes back to exactly what we're talking about, and this is a good way to wrap up, and then I'll let you do the full close on this. Don't think you know what your audience wants or needs or is looking for. Listen to your audience. Listen to your avatar. So quizzes and polls do a great job at what are they really looking for, and make it easy, low barrier to entry, right? Make it simple. Don't 5 questions, 10 questions, and then look at their responses and whatever those might look like, and then you can always tweak it and put it out again and decide, okay, I should have narrowed that just a little bit more, and I should have offered these 3 or 4 options instead of these. So it's always a work in progress, but I think so often we think we know what our audience is looking for, and it really is a great opportunity to pause and listen to how are we meeting their needs and what do they really want.
I love it. And I agree 100%. So glad you like our idea there, Karen. And definitely, if you want to learn more, you can ping Carlyn or myself. DM us here on, on LinkedIn. I know this is also broadcasting to my Facebook. Karen's on LinkedIn. So, ping us here on LinkedIn or, email us, whatever. We're happy to kind of, give you a little bit more on that. And then of course, Carlyn, it's always a pleasure to have you. I'm so excited we got to get together today and talk lead generators to our audiences. I want to wrap up with Pop Academy. How can they find it? How can they get a taste of it? Because I know you got some webinars coming up, don't you?
Exactly. I do. April 28th, we have one webinar, and these are on my website at carlynbushmanconsulting.com. You can easily connect on that through my LinkedIn profile, of course. All the information is there. In addition to, it is also on all my social platforms and my website, carlynbushmanconsulting.com, as I mentioned. April 28th, we have a webinar on that day. It's 30 minutes or less. We walk you through exactly what we're going to be talking about, but we do give a lot of information on that webinar for you to use and implement immediately. Following that, there will be another one on May 3rd. So there's 2 opportunities, and Pop Academy starts May 11th. You're with us for 6 weeks. We dive deep into it. It is very much a workshop style, a lot of interactive conversation. Bring all your questions to the table, and we like to sort through to send you on your way for one of your best years yet.
Awesome. Sounds good. And one last thing on Pop Academy. If you already know you want to experience more of this kind of work with us and you know you want to join, don't we have a nice little discount code for those people who are watching the live and who see it on my podcast? Do we have a little discount code for
We
them?
do Sophie 50. It is Sophie 50, and that is $50 off your registration. So
Awesome. And
yes,
that is SOPHIE 50,
yes,
50, excuse me.
yes. SOPHIE 50 for $50 off your registration. You won't want to wait. Seats are filling up fast, and the early bird special will be going away shortly. So again, use Sophie SOPHIE 50 to enroll sooner than later.
Love it. Thank you so much for being on with me today, Carlyn. I am looking forward to getting Pop Academy started next month. And, I hope you find, everybody, please go to the webinars to get another taste of it. This live is a small taste. The webinars Carlyn is doing on our behalf are a great taste of what we're going to be showing you and teaching you. So, if you're still on the fence, check out those webinars. Those are free. And then, if you're ready to grow your business with progress over perfection, join us in the Pop Academy starting May 11th.
Great. Thank you, Sophie. Have a fabulous afternoon.
Thanks. You too, Carlyn. Thanks to everybody who's watching, and I will see you on my normal weekly tip next Tuesday.
Thank you.